we go into the game.
I'm in the game! Yes!
Nice. No technical errors. This should be an awesome match. I mean, I'm looking to see some, just a continuation of momentum from the end of game 1. It was just such an intense finish, lasting at a 3-3 clock stop for a few seconds before Pex was able to pull through during that team fight and recap that windmill. We'll see how this game turns out. If Pex wins, they'll be the winner once again 2 weeks in a row. But if Blind Big Banditos wins, it's going to come down to a really, really close tiebreaker.
Yeah, it would be really exciting to go to a Game 3. It'll also be really exciting to not go to a Game 3, because I know people stay up late on the East Coast for this. So if it's 2 games, we win. If it's 3 games, we still win. It's a win-win-win, but one person loses situation, because I guess someone has to get second place. We'll find out who that is, potentially, after this game here. And you see, one thing that you want to note is that there is a cleanse on Ezreal, because if he wasn't hard enough to catch, he's now coated in butter.
Yep, I mean, cleanse is really good, especially against this team. You can cleanse out a lot of their CC and just keep being mobile, keep putting out damage. In terms of items, we do see that Nunu has started with full Ninja Tabby and then gotten that Mickey pendant, but otherwise nothing too spectacular. We see a tier on Yorick and then a tier on Blitzcrank, which is not too surprising. Other than that, fairly standard starts.
Seeing both teams heading on up to the top, Riven and Blitzcrank opting to grab the 2 middle points for their respective teams as both of them get up the supports first! Gotta be the supports first for some reason. A little bit of damage being exchanged there, a little bit of back and forth, jumping and headbutting. No one up at the point actively trying to capture yet. Blueberry sees this as an opportunity. Oh, grabbed! That's abduction. Talith PA getting grabbed by the Blitzcrank there. And Jjaja being exhausted and kind of chased out of the fight there by konfetarius. No one hanging out to try and capture. Oh, Blueberry's going to turn around. Blueberry's going to try and start getting a capture in on that tower there, as Blind Pick Banditos is circling around to come in for another pass there. Misses with the snare, unfortunately. Jjaja is going to go down, however. And the Painkillar survival method happening right there for you. Him walking right out of there. 2-digit hit points. Staying alive. He still has plenty of mana, though, to be able to contribute to this fight if he so chooses to, but Talith PA is going to jump up. Let's see that Power Fist. Yes, got him with the Power Fist right there. And konfetarius is going to follow up with the stun, the Heart Seeker, and take him down. zimike now trying to delay this as best he can. Jjaja back in the fight as well. HaIfhearted doesn't have any mana, so he can't really do anything at this point except for try and float away. And he can't float fast enough. Blueberry up above the tower right now is... We'll see what he tries to do to keep this point neutral. Painkillar just re-arriving at the thing. Whoa, misses with the grab there. Can't quite get Janna. And now Jjaja being the subject of the focus.
Yeah, I mean, you see the effects of lasting a little bit too long is that you run out of mana, but again, it's not going to matter because they had the revives up later. They were able to come through and chase away a BPB away from this windmill. And as a matter of fact, we actually see Talith PA coming down right towards the bot lane right away. Elalya in a little bit of trouble, but Talith PA tries to jump over the wall, misses the arcane shift. That's going to give inFe enough time to run away from this, puts down an ice blast, and is going to walk away unharmed.
Yeah, inFe has to back off there. Talith PA as Ezreal, a very dangerous champion, can put out a lot of damage there. And Nunu's going to back out for a moment, but he's going to be on back down the lane. I think everything will be worked out just fine as soon as he returns there. Yorick isn't going to get all the way up to the tower in the time that he is gone. However, Painkillar coming around from behind. He sees Elalya, and he's going to throw down the AoE, but he's not going to get too much damage out of it. Goes in, going for the... There we go. Got her. Got that, what is that spear throw called? Got it with the spear shot. And taking her down, but not going to go for the neutral there because of the revive. Just going to back on out of there. No, he does not have time. Painkillar misses with a grab up at the top. Jjaja broken wingsing out of the way of that. Talith PA taking some damage. zimike poking his head out there, doing a little bit of hits. CaptnBuwberry with the birds. Misses with the snare. Pantheon coming down. Going to see how this goes. No one's in range. It's just a quick hop to get to the top.
Yep, I mean, the ult was there, but... all of BPB had already begun retreating, so as soon as he saw the signal, that was even just more of a sign to retreat. Meanwhile, Aparkhurst comes in with a headbutt against HaIfhearted, and that gives Jjaja time to jump in, but a good crescendo is going to stop the advance. Jjaja now caught away from the rest of his team, and a good grab across the wall by Painkillar is going to secure that kill as konfetarius jumps right onto Jjaja with that stun, picking up that kill with the passive crit. Meanwhile, zimike is forced to use Monsoon to push away the rest of Pex, but CaptnBuwberry is coming in from the side, is not going to land the snare, but that's good good enough pressure to continue to force BPB out from their advancement onto the windmill. Right now, they just don't have the option of trying to pressure that in, but bottom lane, Elalya has pushed out enough to start the neutralize on this tower and also get more than half of the tower channeled. If Elalya can continue just kiting back and forth onto inFe, this may turn into a camp, but konfetarius sees this and is coming right down as soon as he comes out from that spawn point, leaving top to be defended by only 2 people, while Painkillar tries to make his way up top. So it is momentarily a 4v2. Jjaja sees this, dives right in, but just goes a little bit too far into tower range, just taking a lot of tower damage. CaptnBuwberry trying to stay alive with his ultimate will eventually go down in the hands of Riven, but Aparkhurst has also taken a lot of damage. A good grab going down onto Talith, but an arcing shift well timed is going to allow him to escape from the wall. Meanwhile, Riven gets taken down by Sona. Aparkhurst has also taken a lot of burst from that ult from Blitzcrank, and they actually successfully push everyone away from the windmill. The windmill is basically at 0 health and slowly recharging back.
And they don't have any garrisons at their disposal right now to sort of heal the tower, as it were. So they're just going to have a lot of hope that some minions don't look at it and think it's pretty and try and cap it while they're gone. CaptnBuwberry sees that, you know, someone's going to have to be up here to defend. So he's going to go up to the top there, and blind pick Banditos grouping up for another attack. Jjaja following right in behind zimike. Zimike, you know, you'd think the support wouldn't push out like that, but with the speed that Janna has, he's free to kind of stick his head out there, throw down some auto attacks, throw down a couple of abilities. It's no big deal.
You know, meanwhile, inFe's had, after that little neutralize down at the Boneyard, still has had kind of the advantage in pushing out, has already used Ignite to bring down Elalya pretty low, forcing Elalya to play a little bit passive for the time being. Meanwhile, HaIfhearted is going to chill out in this brush here, just scouting out the situation.
Wants to make sure he knows exactly what's going on, but they see HaIfhearted and they engage in on him. konfetarius gets stunned for a moment, so not immediately able to deploy his damage there. Sona with the stun is not terribly consequential, unfortunately, and Painkillar is going to go ahead and have to back on out of there, getting chased down with the broken wings and the stun. Zimike is right there. We see a nice airborne. No, looks like, yep, we are going to see that airborne. There it is, activating that mana barrier. konfetarius turns around, circles back into the fight there. They really want to try and get Jjaja down, but Jjaja is extremely durable. Most of his hit points is a gray bar, and Painkillar is going to go down. Jjaja, a member of the Painkillar School of Surviving, is going to be able to escape from that. And CaptnBuwberry trying to delay as best he can. He's got the ult active, throws down some damage on Aparkhurst. Might get the kill on Aparkhurst, actually. No, it looks like Janna's going to save him with the ultimate.
Wow, good save by zimike, and then also puts down the Eye of the Storm onto Aparkhurst as Aparkhurst jumps back in to add that extra power control, making sure that he doesn't die to the continued DPS coming out from Swain. Very, very good teamwork, but they still weren't able to capture the windmill. So despite these small victories, BPB just aren't able to capitalize on it afterwards. They don't have the manpower left after a fight to really turn the situation back around in terms of tower play, and they are still behind in this 3-cap situation in favor of PEX, as they kind of have been pretty much holding on to this windmill quite well, and they're still keeping mobile. They're keeping an eye pretty much on the center part of the map. They really like to scout the situation now from that brush. Of course, it offers a lot of vision. Meanwhile, Talith PA is finally going to pick up that storm shield as the Aparkhurst scouts out the brushes for him. On the other side for BPB, Aparkhurst actually going to chase away konfetarius, and this is a good situation for BPB. Right now, PEX is split 2-2, and as long as they converge onto one side first before PEX has the chance to respond, they should be able to win on a fight early enough. There is the shot that lands onto Painkillar, but BPB not able to make up their mind onto who they want to fight first. Painkillar, meanwhile, gets to grab across the wall onto Talith. Talith forced arcing shift out. Painkillar is still taking quite a bit of damage, but this gives Swain and Pantheon time to regroup. They're going to come in as Jjaja activates his ultimate and tries to come into the fight, but still hasn't really chosen a target just yet. konfetarius comes in with that stun. Can PEX stay alive during this fight? Painkillar has that mana barrier active. konfetarius is going to be forced out. Jjaja is still putting out a ton of burst damage, gets taken out, or rather konfetarius gets taken out, and Jjaja now still trying to just pressure this tower, is going to tank the tower just a little bit. There comes the Garrison in a good crescendo, but the tower is being channeled by Talith and zimike, saving teammates. Aparkhurst still alive. HaIfhearted just trying to defend it for as long as possible. Aparkhurst still trying to stick around for some extra channel time onto that tower, and eventually has to come back in to help pick up the kill onto zimike, because zimike actually, or HaIfhearted, because HaIfhearted actually picked up a double kill during all of that on that tower.
He does have his Grand Skyfall available. Let's see if he's going to use it, or yet he's absolutely going to. He's coming down. Talith PA is wisely going to get out of the way of that, but Talith PA is by himself against Pantheon. It's not a very good position to be in because Pantheon does a lot of damage. However, he does have that defensive advantage from that tower there. He does have the ability to play arcane shift games like that, but with CaptnBuwberry up here as well, he's going to be able to keep that tower from firing. Talith goes for that shot. CaptnBuwberry just walks out of the way. No big deal. He saw that coming. And now Zimike coming up here, throwing the Garrison down, interrupting that cap. Going to prolong their control over that even more. But a lot of damage being taken there. Zimike resetting the fight with the ultimate. Pantheon goes down, but so does Janna. Now it's a 3v2, but they still have the defender's advantage. And they have two tanky champions, Riven and Alistar, on that point. As long as they can maintain disruption on it, they're not really going to be dive bait.
Swain tries to come through with that ultimate, but it's Blitzcrank who's been tanking the tower. HaIfhearted starts to channel on the tower to deny that damage, but now it's a 3v3 as we see Zimike is back in the fight, and BFB actually in a fairly okay position. Jjaja is quite low, but they do have the advantage here against CaptnBuwberry. CaptnBuwberry has no mana, so they have the potential to just put out some free damage onto him. His mana should run out anytime now. It does run out right there, but a good grab onto Jjaja is going to bring him back. But Painkillar might pay for that grab as he gets taken down in a counter initiative by Banditos, and they continue on to HaIfhearted. CaptnBuwberry comes back in with quite a bit of mana though, so he's going to sustain damage if he chooses to commit, but decides not to as HaIfhearted gets picked off, and he was all alone until konfetarius was able to come back up top. The minions did get some really good work done onto the windmill. However, Aparkhurst, Zimike, and Talith PA easily clearing that way.
The minions doing work and work and work, but eventually they have to back off from that point, and we see Buwberry recalling konfetarius being active on the map, just letting people know that he's there, making sure the other team has to respond to them. And there's a very good call, Chobra. That cut-in that they made, wedging themselves right in between 2 points. They could go either way. They force a response because the people at the top have to come down, the people at the bottom have to come up. It really forces an off-point fight when a team does something like that. And they played it off excellently. They made sure that they were not able to group up, that they weren't able to utilize Sona and Blitzcrank's AoE very effectively because they were split up one way. They didn't have the ability to lock people down so that konfetarius could deal out the damage because he was trapped below with Swain. It was a very excellent series of plays by blind pick Banditos. Now konfetarius being beat up over there in the bushes, he's going from one bush to the other. He gets a free trip and is going to get taken down.
And HaIfhearted just trying to kite away from Aparkhurst. Actually gets pulverized in the headbutted back, and Painkillar is coming through though to assist in this, and so is CaptnBuwberry. Zimike dodges that snare and then puts down an excellent monsoon to push them out of the way as he continues to run away with that high mobility. And here is the konfetarius ultimate. The man drop is coming down. They catch Aparkhurst, but the real target they want is Ezreal. Ezreal's going to go down with no problem. Pantheon turns right back around onto Aparkhurst despite that howling gale. And wow, Alistar is so tanky with that ult, but with 4 people around, it's not going to matter. He goes down immediately. They now turn on to Zimike as CaptnBuwberry remains channeling that tower, but the True Shot Barrage is going to stall that for just a little bit longer. Gives Jjaja time to try to jump into tower range. Gets the Wind Slash, still holding on to this windmill. Banditos just doesn't want to lose this 3-comp whatsoever. Jjaja is still alive throughout all of this. Aparkhurst comes back in, meanwhile, with full health. Talith PA takes quite a bit of damage from Pantheon and Swain, but Swain is also running low. Meanwhile, an excellent grab by Painkillar across the wall to catch Zimike, take him down, starting to turn this fight back around in favor of Pex. Jjaja has come back. Will that be enough damage to maintain this fight in favor of Blind Banditos? I don't think so. konfetarius gets the stun onto Talith PA. Meanwhile, the windmill does go down to Pex, so eventually Pex gets the victory in this fight. Another grab across the wall, bringing Jjaja under tower range. Meanwhile, CaptnBuwberry picks up the kill onto Talith PA on Ezreal. So Pex really turning that back around in their favor, and now they hold the 3-cap once again.
Painkillar has been captain skill shot with Amumu, and now with Blitzcrank being very good at being able to land those, pulling people under the tower like that. That was a great play at the end of that fight there. And sticking around to secure that cap while the fight was going on off point, so to put them in an okay position. But CaptnBuwberry really doesn't have the health to be able to have that survivability up there at the moment, so they are going to be able to get that point back, but that was time that they were not getting damage in on the Nexus.
So the windmill still being traded back and forth, so both teams kind of looking for a different play to make here, and we actually see a pause, so it might have been a little bit of a connection
is
issue.
possible. Prior to this game, inFe had a little bit of a connection thing, but we are in the game now. Taking a quick skim down the items, Hextech Sweeper on Janna is a really good thing to have, being able to reveal those bushes from distance. It's awesome. HP, AP, CDR. It's a great item to have, and it's really useful with the limited scouting that you have in this game mode because of not being able to buy wards. You also have on Yorick, we see the... everything looks pretty standard for Yorick. He's got a Manamune, he has a Spirit Visage, which synchronizes well with his ability to, sustain down there. Ezreal's got a Triforce. Riven is going for a Hex Drinker. Looks like he's probably going to build that into a Maw later. And Alistar's just building tank. He looks like he's going to go for a Frozen Heart Spirit Visage, which helps out with his healing that he has naturally. Or... maybe he could go and even Triforce later on. I see he's got a Ruby Crystal and a Longsword. Those are Phage components right there. He already has a Sheen. Fight Alistar is a pretty good thing. We'll have to see how it plays out as the game goes on. Jjaja and Aparkhurst up here at the top with Painkillar and HaIfhearted. Painkillar not the most damaging of champions right now. Rocking just a Zeal on Manamune and a Frozen Heart at the moment. Not a big damage on him like a Youmuu's or anything quite like that yet, but they are able to do a significant amount of work over on Jjaja while this is going on. Aparkhurst taking a ton of damage, but he's extremely resilient right now. And Janna trying to save him, but a little bit late on the draw there. konfetarius wants Talith PA. He does. He lands that stun, which delays the damage. There's an offensive Garrison and a defensive Garrison. So many Garrisons, minions all over that tower trying to put into neutral territory. It looks like they are going to get neutral. You see that? Buwberry backs the mic up right into the snare. Good play by Buwberry right there.
Buwberry had 2 consecutive really good snares in that sequence earlier when they pinched out Alistar and Riven with Sona. Sona landed the crescendo and Buwberry followed right up with that snare as I talked about during the pre-game lobby, guaranteeing a lot of hits, forcing Riven out of that fight. Meanwhile, we also saw Painkillar with just a clutch grab as Talith PA was trying to dance around in this top rush, securing that kill, and Pex once again takes down this windmill.
And inFe making a play for Elalya down here at the bottom. konfetarius just needs to get a nice spear shot because she's so low on hit points, and he's able to secure that, but her ult is active. konfetarius taking a lot of damage, his health bar turning that bright, terrible red that you never want to see it turn. inFe being forced away from that encounter, but it drew people down away from the top end of the map, which allowed Evelynn Child Support to get some map position. Painkillar situated in the bushes right here. He's just waiting for Janna to come by. Janna, I'm so scared. Zimike. Oh, okay, it's actually fine. Painkillar is going to go ahead and pull back. They're going to want to babysit CaptnBuwberry while he picks up that Storm Shield. He does have the Storm Shield now, able to secure that. Painkillar being the scout out there hanging in that V-bush. That is just one set of bushes right there above those 2 Storm Relics. So if you stand in it, at the top of it, you can actually see into the other side of the bushes. It's one whole unit. Buwberry up at the top, just being there, showing that they only have one person there, kind of gives a sense of, hey, where are they? Blind Pick doesn't know where the rest of the enemy team is. They'd be kind of cautious the way they move around the map. Painkillar seeing Aparkhurst approaching is going to go ahead and back on out of the bushes. Aparkhurst is going to go in there. He's going to see him, maybe he saw Painkillar before he walked in the bushes. They know he's there now that he stuck his head out just a little bit, and they're collapsing in. The Hextech Sweeper goes off, so Janna knows that they've retreated out of those bushes there. And Sona, that's really scary. HaIfhearted, I'm worried for your safety. Gets airborne right there. Talith PA and the rest of the crew encroaching in, but Painkillar pulls Jjaja right out of that fight. Doesn't want him to be able to contribute any damage to it, and HaIfhearted is able to get back to the tower, but how much of a difference is it going to make, seeing how low his HP has gotten already?
We do see Pantheon coming back in to help with the save. Meanwhile, Two-Shot Barrage was used, I assume, against CaptnBuwberry down here, as Buwberry has been completely pressuring out Zimike, gets that neutralized onto the refinery. Now he's the main target between 4 of the enemy champions. Blind Pick Banditos absolutely nuking down the poor Swain, but the goal was achieved. They got a neutral onto the refinery. They now have a 3-1 cap for a few more seconds, and Hex is just looking really strong. They've had a steady lead throughout this match, doing a lot of work, landing their skills exactly well timed, getting the crowd control right when they needed it, and defending overall quite well. There is a kill down bot. Top lane, there's a little bit of a duel. Meanwhile, there's still more action going down bot. konfetarius gets slowly taken down by the Elalya Ghost. Can Elalya pick it up? Actually, it's going to be the Howling Gale picking up the kill. Elalya's Ghost will go down after that death. Through that ultimate, but Talith has also shown up bot. But this has been really good trades for Pex. As you mentioned earlier, Pex goes down, they get a kill, and they might die in return. But that forces a lot of attention from Blind Pick to come back down bot, and a good grab once again from Painkillar down onto Aparkhurst Alistar, but Alistar will be able to walk out for the time being.
Yeah, looking at Nunu, Nunu's got a Hextech Gunblade, he's got a Frozen Heart, he's got an Athene, he's got Spirit Vision, he's got great sustain. Talith PA getting grabbed, and a lot of hurt being put on him right away. He's a little bit worse for the wear, gets blown away by the static field there. Parkhurst really low on mana. I don't know how much more he can contribute to the fight. He does have enough for that airborne, it looks like, but Jjaja's taking the damage now, and they're really focusing their efforts on that. You can see Jjaja being hit, and the Parkhurst really just kind of taking chip damage while it's going on. Swain picking up the double kill with his Ravenous Flock there, and Janna just backing off. She's really quick, she's really mobile. She wants to get into a position behind this tower where she can, you know, try and interrupt, and she tried to interrupt konfetarius, but he managed to Grand Skyfall out of there, and we got the ult coming down, gonna interrupt. That's why you don't stand together like that, so you can't get interrupted. You want to spread out. Even if it takes you that extra second, you want to be able to spread out like that. They're gonna get the neutral off. konfetarius is gonna try and chase Ezreal away, but he's going to jump away there a little bit. inFe going in for him on that. He doesn't have the absolute zero, but he might get this kill on Talith. Talith really slow from the snowball. Can he get there? No, I don't think so. The Elalya is going to get a double kill, but that put Pex in a 4 cap for a moment in time.
Yeah, they were successfully able to take that. They now have the damage buff for the fight up top here. It's already a 3v2. Jjaja instantly getting brings down. A well-placed snare to predict Jjaja's movement. Catches him as he tries to run away. Now it's just Alistar left. Parker's trying to make a run for it, but they will just continue chasing through. Despite the minion wave trying to push up top, they pick up the kill with no problem. And Windmill is still in safety. A good 3 cap still steadily in favor of Pex. Banditos doesn't have much time left. Once again, they're down to 30 points. They need to make a move right now. It's 255 to 33. If they don't make something happen soon enough, the game will be over before we know it. And a big problem to this has been the focus down in bot lane. inFe's just been able to push. And then konfetarius constantly comes down for the extra kill. Even if they trade 1 for 1, it's just been absolutely more beneficial for Pex. They make it happen once again, taking down Elalya, forcing zimike to come down, and that means the windmill is safe for the time being. And there isn't going to be enough time for Banditos to run to the Boneyard and capture that. We do see Jjaja and Aparkhurst once again trying to aggress onto the windmill, but another really good snare coming down from CaptnBuwberry. The grab actually misses, but it doesn't matter. That forces Jjaja far away, because after that grab, Swain just has so much single target damage potential. Only 10 points left. I believe this might be game. We see all of Banditos trying to make a move up here, but konfetarius is going to come down with the Pantheon. Banditos does not have enough time. They're still going to follow through with a team fight, but the victory is going to go to Evelynn Child Support as they become consecutive victors 2 weeks in a row for the weekly DominateDominion.com
champions.
tournament.
Evelynn Child Support is able to take down long-standing successful team Blind Pick Banditos 2-0 in the finals. DominateDominion.com League of Legends Dominion Tournament number 17.